Welcome to this training around ongoing assessment and putting together portfolios. What we'll be talking about is assessment, connection between assessment and the Wisconsin Model Early Learning Standards teaching cycle. We'll talk a little bit about observation and practice doing some observations, as well as think about how you can organize your observations in a portfolio. The goal is that you'll gain an understanding of assessment, gain an understanding of the teaching cycle, making the connection between assessment and planning, gain an understanding of portfolios as an assessment tool, and learn strategies to implement portfolios in your program. So assessment is really about getting to know the child. It's about gathering information about children in an attempt to better understand and support learning and development. You assess young children's behavior, skills, competencies, preferences, and interactions. When you are doing assessment, you are gathering data, gathering information about what children know and are able to do to help you make decisions about what you want to teach. There are several purposes of assessment. Assessment can be used as screening in terms of deciding what it is, if the child is where they're supposed to be developmentally, or if there are concerns about a child's development. Ongoing assessment is used to make decisions around instruction, decisions around what it is that you want children to know and be able to do and what you are going to teach. Assessment also allows you to individualize to meet the needs of every child in your classroom. Finally, assessment can be used for program evaluation in terms of determining if your program, your center, is doing a good job meeting the needs of young children. Here we have the teaching cycle from the Wisconsin Model Early Learning Standards. The first step in the teaching cycle is assessment. And assessment is really about gathering information about what a child knows and is able to do, and thinking about how that relates to what children in general at that age know and are able to do. So you're really focusing on a specific child and where they are at developmentally. The next step is planning and curricular goals. And this is where you're making decisions based upon the assessment data that you've gathered on what it is that you want children to know and be able to do, and what it is you're going to teach to help support that. The third step is implementation, and that is the how. So how are you going to teach children to meet those goals, to learn what it is that you want them to know how to do? As part of implementation, you're moving back into assessment and observing children and really evaluating and thinking about, did children make progress towards the goals that you set? So why observe children? By observing children, you get to know them better and are more in tune with their needs. You can think about observation in terms of two pieces: of observing to assess a child, to really gain an understanding and knowledge about what that child knows and is able to do, as well as observing to plan curriculum, so making decisions about what it is that you want children to know and be able to do, and therefore what it is you're going to teach. So here is a list of different things that you might learn by observing children. You're learning about that child's development and where they are. You're learning about the child's personality and what they like and dislike. You learn how the child copes with difficult situations and engages in problem solving. Through observation, you may gain a better understanding around children's behavior and why they behave the way that they do. And it gives you information to really think about, who is this child and how can you best meet the needs of this child in your classroom. Much of the materials being used for this training come from a book called Focused Observations by Gay Grunland. And this is a book which is very helpful in thinking about how to observe. Another book, Focused Portfolios, also by Gay Grunland, is very helpful in thinking about how to organize your observation data into a portfolio. So when you are observing and taking notes on what it is that a child knows and is able to do, you really want to focus on using subjective language in terms of really describing what it is that you hear and what it is that you see, rather than interpreting what you think that observation means. I'm going to share a few forms with you from the Focused Observation book. And so this first form is just a form that you can use to, on the one side, on the left-hand side, write down what it is that you hear and what it is that you see the child do. And this allows you to really gather that objective language. On the right-hand side, you can then comment and write notes about what you think that this means, and what might be some steps or things that you might do based upon your observation. This form helps you to focus your observations on the different domains of development. And so there are different domains labeled with each box. And you can look at using this not just in the way that it's written, but you can actually put in the 5 domains of the Wisconsin Model Early Learning Standards to make sure that you're observing around each of those domains. This is a quick check recording sheet, and so if you have an activity that you've planned in your classroom that helps you to observe a specific skill, so for example, if you're wanting to observe children's counting skills and you have a math game, on the far left-hand column you can write the names of all of the children in your classroom, and then on the next row you write the date of the activity at the very top, and then you can just mark by every child's name if they've met the desired skill of whether it's counting to 10 or whatever it is that you're observing. Here is another example of taking notes on a group of children. So again, you can list all of the children's names on the left-hand column, and then on the right-hand side to just write very brief notes about what you've observed over the course of the day. Here is an example of a way to observe children based upon your environment. So instead of using the domains of development within each of these boxes, you're listing the different intercenters in your classroom and really observing and documenting what children are doing in the different intercenters in your classroom. Let's use this form, and we are going to practice observing. So I'm going to show you the bottles in the napkin, and I want you to
had a new schedule for the start of this week as well.
Did you see our caterpillar, Carson? Come on down here. You can see that. Look, Hunter.
Luke wants a turn.
Caterpillars. Could be butterflies.
What do you think? It is coming, guys.
Oh, plants?
Do you know for every action?
Want to water the plants?
That's reaction.
Okay.
You got it.
Let's water the plants. It's in your mouth. Take that one out.
Yeah.
Try the green.
Yeah,
Try the green.
wash the bottle.
Butterflies.
Gentle.
Whoops. Oh, I know why you don't want to touch that. Hold on a second. Is that icky? Here. Here. I don't blame you. Just wipe that off.
Do you want to bring this baby over too? You may.
There.
You found another one?
Now you can touch it. That was goopy, wasn't it? Goopy goopy.
Find another.
Hey! You got chocolate on this thing.
There's another baby. Maybe we can try to get the baby first. We use the washcloth.
you go backwards up there? That's good. Yeah, he needs a cleaning. Did you put the bottles in the mat yet? Look what I did.
Walk on the balance beam?
I got my shirt all wet.
Can you walk on the balance
Look at that, my shirt is all wet. Oh, let's go wash your hands. Come here, your face is green. Let's wash both. Come here, let's get a Kleenex for your face.
All the way. You can do it. Hunter Carson. On the balance beam.
Try that. You know what? You're going to have to put washcloth on your hair. Oh, let's wash your hands.
Build it up, up, up. Mommy, daddy. Here they are.
So hopefully we're able to write down everything that you saw and heard Hunter do. I think an interesting form to use would have been the facts and interpretations, so writing down on one side everything you saw and heard Hunter do, and then on the other side thinking about, well, what might that mean, or what are some questions that you might have about Hunter, or what are some things that you might want to do some more observation around or talk to the parents about. So we're going to move into thinking about portfolios. And really thinking about how portfolios are a way to organize your assessment information that you're gathering through observations, which then you're writing down, which is then called an anecdotal note. Other things that you can put into a portfolio are work samples, so pictures that children have drawn, examples of their writing for older children, photographs. You can also include videos or sound recordings. So here's an example from the Focus Portfolios book of a specific form that you can use to fill out to give information about children. And this one specifically focuses on a child's ability to interact with other children and form friendships. And so they have a picture here, I know it's kind of hard to see, of two babies playing in a laundry basket. And then the teacher then writes about the observations between the two babies which the teacher has observed. Here is an example of an anecdotal note that you can use to document your observations. It also helps to organize your observations because you're able to check the different categories listed at top. And then at the bottom you write a brief description of what you observed, and you can also include a work sample as listed here. And then here is an example of the attached work sample, which shows the child's drawing ability and ability to draw different shapes. Here is another example for infants and toddlers that documents an observation around a young child. Here is an example of a way in which you can document for infants and toddlers their first words, so keeping track and documenting when children say new words. And then this piece I think is a really nice form that helps you to summarize your observations and really reflect upon what you've observed and learned about an individual child, and then connect those observations to your planning and thinking about goals that you want to work on with the child. So that is the end of the presentation. I will be coming to your center to help you organize and put together portfolios. So if you have some questions or things that you're not clear on or that you want to make sure that we discuss, I invite you to take a few moments to write down those questions or thoughts so that I can address them when I see you